Hello everybody who's not yet here. I'm going to get my laptop out to let you all know that I am in fact here. Ugh. And then we can get started. So we're kind of making up a pattern today for anyone that is watching this later when it's no longer live. It's going to be awesome. It's just something simple, but, you know, I am now live. Grab the link. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome. Oh, shush. There we go. I am now live. Oh, all right. So I'm working with a new fabric today. Hello, Bob. Close off all these links I don't need because they will just drain my internet. Hello, London. Okay, we also need to change the color of the thread. I don't think they want orange on a blue bag. Just a thought. So what I am making today is a Faraday lanyard bag, basically, because my friends are going overseas and they wanted some RFID, which is this stuff here, RFID fabric so that nobody can steal and scam their stuff. Apparently it runs rampant overseas. I don't think it's much in Australia, or if it is, I don't hear about it. It's not in our news ever. So anyway, we are making lanyard-friendly bags that have zero metal on them. So there were some specifications from my mate that wants these. They are to go around her neck. They are to have no metal, which means no zippers, which means we need Velcro. And she wanted them RFID safe. I don't know what that stands for anybody asks me. I just know it's the stuff I need. So, what I have done... Oh, I didn't cut that corner off. This is RFID fabric that I found on... I don't remember where. I'm sure I can find the link though. And then I made a template in Inkscape. So for anyone that doesn't have Inkscape, it is a free... kind of like Adobe, but probably not as cool program. And so you draw a rectangle and then it has a little dot in the corner, and if you drag it down, it curves out your edges for you. It does all four though, it'll never just do two, so that's a problem for a different day. So this is the pattern piece that I have deemed necessary. I also went and got out my passport to make sure that it fits. It does. And I've made it a little bit taller so that we can fold it over and essentially put Velcro like that. So that is what the bag will look like. And then here, I'm going to do a little hanger. Now, normally I write all this up in my book, but we are literally winging it today. So bear with me on that. So that's what we've done. So this is piece number one, of which, so I've got two bags sitting here. Because they want them lightweight, this is leftover from a pair of pants that I turned into shorts for the husband. So he asked me to make his bag out of the leftover fabric. So this is just a really thick, non-stretch denim that they make like high quality jeans out of. So I cut one of them. And then this one I just made a bit shorter. So like, as you can see there. So this is, it's gonna fit heaps of stuff. They just want to put passports and their like cards. What are they called? I can't think of the word now. Like buying card thing. Anyway, so I cut, this is RFID fabric. Now you can just put this in the middle and have a prettier fabric as well if you were doing like an NCW. Morning, Michelle. But basically this is just gonna go on the inside and be the lining. So this is RFID so that when you've got stuff inside it, people can't steal your things from the chips. I don't really understand how it all works. I just know I needed it. So here we go. So this is another one This was actually made out of this very lightweight shirt. She asked me to make it out of this for her. Now this is the worst fabric in the universe, if you ask me. It's worse than rayon. It's all slippery and stretches really easily out of shape. So I have put some interfacing on the back of this to ensure that it doesn't slip and carry on like a pork chop. So the other things we're going to need, you need thread, obviously. We're also going to need, I've only got white, so we're using white. They won't care. This has also got the sticky stuff on the back. Credit card, thank you. Debit card, that's the word I was after. Thank you, Tabitha. So this has actually got the sticky back on it. I didn't have any non-sticky back. We are still going to sew through it though. You can, it'll just potentially go up your needle, so you go slowly. Delaware. I'm so bad with geography. I don't know where things are, so please don't be mad at me for that either. So, the only other thing we're going to need, because I'm doing it lanyard style, there's a few ways to make this. My brain can come up with like 8 different ways to make this. I'm just trying to pick the most logical. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little loop here for the lanyard. You could also have 2 little loops on the side, but you need to remember that she's asked for no metal. So I have to make the loops out of fabric, which is what we're about to cut out because I did not have time this morning. Morning, Marion. Welcome to the party. So we're just going to cut some more out of this shirt, and I think the loop's going to be out of this for both of them because it is nice and light, and then it won't be a super bulky loop. I don't want a big loop either. I only wanted about 1/2 inch max, if I can get away with that. So what we're going to do, because this is literally how I make up patterns for anyone that's wondering, I've also decided, I know I haven't done videos lately. Our household's been sick for the better part of 3 weeks. I did manage to get a pattern drawn up for those that are in my pattern club thing. However, like everything, takes time. So I've noticed lately a lot of people are getting quite complex with their patterns. So I've decided to do the opposite. Now I'm just trying to figure out, I think I want them 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, or draw specifically at the moment, 6 by 2 inches. And this will do both the loops. Now again, you could do side loops, you could do whatever. Anyway, so I've noticed lately a lot of people are getting quite complex with all their patterns. So my next one has literally been designed to be like a nice quick sew, so that you can smash it out in, you know, in under 2 hours. So if you need like a gift, that's what my next pattern is. But I'm gonna do a bunch of videos where we can like jazz it up and be more high-end. But it holds your hat, because I'm all about the hat. It's about to be, I know in America it's all going to be winter, but it's about to be like spring and summer, and I'm going to want to start taking a hat everywhere. But sometimes you just don't necessarily want to wear it. So because of that fact, I am going to have it able to be carried, which I thought was very clever of me. So anyway, it's a very simple pattern. It's got very little hardware. The idea is that it's quick and it's fun, because sometimes things aren't as fun as they should be. See that? See how stretchy and horrible this fabric is? It's horrible. So yeah, my pattern will be super quick. I will pull it up at the end of this video so that you can all see. It will be released on the 13th of this month, so in 11 days, as always. It is at my testers right now. I'm also going to have to probably get some more testers. I'm going to put, I'm hoping that this will help stabilize a little bit, if I'm honest. Double-sided tape is your friend. This is the 3/4 inch. I like this so much better than 1/2 inch. I don't do 1/2 inch anymore. I don't own any. 3/4, 1/4, and the 1/8 is for zippers. So if you have trouble installing zippers, my recommendation would be to get the 1 inch. 1/8 of an inch tape. Now this is going to be a nightmare. I can already tell. So I'm just gonna like eyeball halfway because this fabric is just, it's too stretchy. What I should have done is iron a lightweight interface on it, then cut it out, and then ironed all of this. But pish posh. Nothing tells me what to do, and so that's why we're not doing that. And so then when we fold that over, so I'm looking at that, and that to me is too bulky. So we're changing our mind already. Trial and error, people. Trial and error. I don't like it. It's for a little, so the idea is I want this nice and little. I essentially want it half that size is what I want. Put that in the bin. We're just going to cut another one. If I hadn't have put double-sided tape on it, we probably could have got away with something else. But that's all right. It's all right. The other thing about using a shirt is you've got to pick where you're going to get your fabric from. Always a fun one. I do not recommend working with this fabric without interfacing. But the point of this was to be recycled or upcycled, I suppose. Why buy fabric when you've already got some? Which is trying to be my theory. I see lots of the companies I like buying stuff from has got all new like vinyls and hardwares and things. I am trying to keep myself on a ban so that I can get through my stash. I am not living by that motto that he who dies with the biggest stash wins. I'm not that I'm dying, please don't think that. But I'm just trying to not hoard so much stuff. And now that my household is no longer sick, after this weekend, I'm doing some rearranging of my house this weekend, and then I'm hoping to be out here a lot more. I'm also going to get an electrician to come and put some lights in because it's just too dark, and a dark space is not a sewing motivational space at all. So apparently making this lanyard thing is going to take the longest out of everything. Bear with me though. And then they can use whatever lanyards they've got at home. This also makes it cheaper for them and for me because I don't have to make a strap. Okay, let's try this again. But no, I will need some more testers because some of mine have just got lives, and I understand that, and they've just got stuff that they need to be doing instead. I've had a few testers step down, and I had a few testers that were super new. And they just decided it was a bit too much for them, which I understand. Testing's not for everyone. So my next pattern, so I was going to make a picnic pattern, like a picnic bag pattern this round. But my maths was off, so I quickly whipped up something else because there will always be a pattern every month. Makes me happy to do so. See, this is more like it. This is going to be nice and skinny. I also made it longer because I had a sneaking suspicion that my little bit was not going to be enough to do a loop. Okay, so now when I fold this in half, it's nice and little. So I'm just going to fold it over. Hello, April. And then I'm going to stitch and back stitch. So this is now like a 1/4 inch. This is nice and little. It's fiddly, but it's pretty. It's exactly what I wanted. Nice and skinny. And I'm just going to sew the one side. You can sew the other side if you want, but being this skinny, I personally wouldn't bother. Ta-da! I'm getting used to these snips. So that will now be the little loop for the lanyard. See, that's much more reasonable. So we are making up a pattern right now. I am making a passport bag with RFID fabric. So I'm going to take one exterior and one of the RFID pieces. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to get a lining piece as well. I assume it'll be fine, but you just never know. All this stuff is just a nightmare to sew, to be honest. I'm going to do 1/4 inch seam allowance. No, I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch. And backstitch. And then I'm going to do, I think I'm going to build one completely in case there's any changes I want to do. That's sewed nicely though, the RFID fabric. So then I'm going to fold this up, fold it down. It works. It actually acts a lot like the waterproof canvas, if I'm honest. But it's not. It's RFID stuff. Okay. That's the outer pocket. Then we're going to take the rough side so that's away from their body. And I'm just going to bring it in a little bit at the sides. So this is 5.5 inches wide. So I'm going to do 5 inches worth of this. It's also got no metal on it. She wanted no metal and to go around her waist, her neck. So I'm just going to provide it, and then they can put their own lanyard on it. Because it turns out there's not a lot of places to buy lanyards. Who knew that? And then I'm just going to pop this right next to, I stick it there, and then we're going to stitch it. So I'm just going to separate the layers, and I am going to stitch it. You might be wondering why, and the answer is because I don't trust sticky stuff. Pretty much sums it up. At all, in fact. So I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go slowly. You got to remember there's sticky stuff here, so you don't want to be sewing really fast. That's how you gum up your needle and break your thread. Although the thickness of this thread should not break. It's also got a bird's nest at the back. I'm just going to clip those stitches that are making it all wonky donkey. And then down. And backstitch. So that is now both stuck on and sewn on, but not to the backing piece, so that on the inside. Now, this doesn't really matter for this. You could have just put these pieces down and done it like that. It probably wouldn't have mattered, if I'm totally honest. But, ta-da! You know what? I'm going to do the other one. This is going to work out fine. So, this is the second one. We're doing 2 at the same time. This stuff is slippery, so if you want to use clips, by all means, go right ahead. We're going to do 3/8 of an inch because I cut that piece a little bit wonky, and so this fixes that without having to cut a new piece. Because I am lazy, just if you haven't met me. I quite often make a pattern and then change it as I'm going to suit my needs. So we're going to just finger press that down, fold it over. This one's thicker and this one's got no interfacing because it is a very thick denim. So again, with the rough side out, so the rough side will be away from the body, is how I'm doing this. Chop. Ooh. Oops, I'm pushing buttons. Stop it. There we go. Is it like nylon or ripstop? I did put the iron on it just to test. It can be ironed, I think. I did put the iron on it. You know what? I could probably turn the iron on and show you, actually. Since my iron's right next to me. My laptop's charged enough now that it won't be detrimental. It was dead flat this morning. We can try and iron it. I also need a drink. Me and my glorious cup. It's like a really thin waterproof canvas. Like it's super flimsy, but it's weird. It's super thin and feels flimsy. But when it's out like this, it's got more structure than you would think. Yeah, I know, don't melt it. I can always cut more. I bought a meter from online, so it's not the end of the world. While that's heating up though, I will iron this down. But yeah, so what was I talking about before? People have been asking me how to write patterns. I don't know if it's write patterns specifically or more design patterns, but either way, I'm gonna do a bunch of videos, like a video tutorial type deal that you'll be able to purchase. But you'll have to wait until I've made all the videos, and then you can just buy it as a set, and you'll get a special code to watch it online. Because I'm a bit out of the loop of like new release patterns. I just don't trust it to not be stuck on. And I'm also putting this all the way across pretty much because I don't want there to be any gaps. Not that they're putting weird stuff in it, but still. Okay, let's move that. I've also got my juice here. I've got all the containers of the universe going on at the moment. This is my ironing pad. Yum. So this is my little ironing pad. So I'll show you what it irons like. So I've never used this fabric before. It's a bit exciting. So this is always on the hottest setting, by the way. So look, did not melt it. Huzzah! Doesn't love to be ironed though. It's not getting out as many wrinkles as you might think, all things considered. So this is on the hottest setting I own, and it's still not dead flat. If that tells you anything about how to iron it, you definitely can. It definitely doesn't affect it like normal fabric. So I assume that's whatever is in it. Like, that is a very, very hot iron. It's on the linen setting, and look, it's still not dead flat. See all the little wrinkles? So I hope that answers your question. You can iron it, but it doesn't iron as well as you might think. Okay. So next up, oh no, the fabric just pushed a button and I've lost all my, I can't see all your comments. I pushed a button accidentally. Whoopsies. Hold on, give me 1 sec so I can see your comments. I'll be right with you. No. There we go. But yeah, so it feels Simply Classic. I don't even know who that is. Who's Simply Classic? See, I'm out of the loop. I need to either be more organized or get someone to be in charge of such things. So I'm now going to base these together. And these ones. I am back. I am much less sick. Well, our household's much less sick, which is nice. I love the Jezebel. That was another pattern I made up while I was like doing a live and then turn it into a written pattern. Do you guys, would you prefer, oh hello Sandra, would you guys prefer like how to design patterns, or would you like to start with how to alter patterns? Because I feel like you need to learn to alter before you learn to create. I also think the machine sounds different when it sews DIF fabric, just FYI. Okay. Oh, good. People are getting templates. I love that for you. Does it help the Americans that I now have an American person distributing templates? Did you guys know that there's now an American person that distributes my templates? I don't know if I've come on here and announced it yet. We ignore my very dodgy stitching, right? Doesn't matter. Promise. So then this... So this is the idea, right? And this is a really fun way to do this. Put it on it, right? Line it up, and then fold it down. And then stick it. How cool is that? Ha 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 ha. So by that logic, you should probably clip this one because it's not as smooth. Haven't made a Jezebel in a while, actually. I also need a new handbag because, you know, I'm the handbag person and I just decided I need one. So I'm going to put that on so it's attached. Then you can peel off the backing because it's a bit easier in that regard. And then we fold it over and boom! And now that is exactly where you need it to sew. Now I'm going to sew through both layers because just our DIF or RFID will not be sturdy enough in my opinion. So now I can top stitch around the Velcro. Now obviously that doesn't work if it's not sticky. If it's not sticky you'll have to measure it out. This side's also easier to stitch because there's no rough stuff to try and break your thread. But this one now will be perfectly lined up where it needs to be. Fun times. Ta-da! Let's sew this one as well. And then we're going to attach our little lanyard bit. And then we're going to bind the edge and it's done. I swear my sewing machine sounds different today when it stitches. I'm wondering if it's the RFID stuff or if I'm just tripping because I haven't sewn in a while. Could go either way at this point, honestly. Your package hasn't arrived yet, Sandra. I promise I'll do it as a live, whether it's in my house or out here. I just really need brighter lights out here. It sucks. Okay, so that's not for that one. But basically I'm lining this up to fold it over because I need my little loop. My little lanyard loop is going to be there like that. We don't need a big one. Doesn't need to be a big loop. It just needs to be a nice little loop. So if I hold that there, that is 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to make it 3 inches because we're going to sew some down. You know, Tori, I think you have a great point because it makes sense to feel comfortable with altering patterns. It is a foundational skill. I learned to alter patterns before I learned to write them. You need to understand how things work. So I think I might start with like a 3-video series or something with altering patterns. I will search out, we can alter some of mine, but I'd also like to alter somebody else's pattern. So I'll go find permission from someone. Purely so because I write patterns differently to other people. I know that. Different people write patterns different ways. I write patterns different to Aura Rosa. I love her patterns. But we write and explain things very differently. So, this is the foldy bit. I mean, in a perfect world, it's all lined up. So the first thing we need to do is find the halfway point, which for 5.5 is what, 2 3/4, so there. And then I'm going to have the sewn side to the inside like this, and I'm going to push that to there. Now there's no way to hold it in place, so I'm just going to have to physically hold it, remove the Velcro. Right, that's where I want it sewn, so I'm just going to place it down, stitch, back stitch, stitch, back stitch. That might seem excessive, but there is no way they're going to lose it, right? You got to think, this is someone's passport. You don't want them to lose their passport. See, now it's got a little, that looks crooked. Oh no. It is, it's a little bit crooked. Now I have to unpick that whole nightmare. That's annoying. I hate unpicking. I don't actually technically. Oh no. No, no, no. Ha! Ha 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 ha. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Technically it's only this side that needs moving. Hello, Joyce. Normally I'm much more organized than this, but we're making up the pattern as we go. So, you know, gotta feel it out a little bit. I also hate unpicking. This is why I should have marked it. I even thought in my brain you should mark this, and I didn't, and that's my fault. The reason I've made it out of this color on this one as well is because the other denim would be way too thick to fold it over that many times in such a small space. Like, it's just not a thing that I would recommend doing. Hold it in place, fold it down, fold it over. This is why I normally baste all the pieces together. It's being a bit of a brat. That looks crooked. Why does it look crooked? Okay, so if that's the fold over spot there, I'm going to put it, oops. This time I'm going to mark it with an erasable pen. 5.5, so halfway is 2 3/4. Yes, 2.5 is 5 plus 1/4, 2 3/4. There's the center there. So I'm going to take this, line it up at the center. I can open it out now because I can see the point. Over the center, like that. Down just a smidgy bit. And then we're going to stitch it in place. Now the reason I go back and forth so many times as well is to hide the raw edges. And also because this is going to be holding the whole bag. And I don't know how rough people are going to be with things. So I'm going to go 1/4 inch up and do a second lot of stitching. And I really hope this one's not crooked. Because that's not what we want. Alright, so now I'm going to clip these together, sew it together, and then we're just going to put binding around the edge, and it's done. Simple but effective. Could I have done it without binding? Yes. But then I was going to want to put a lot more interfacing on this, and I'm trying to keep it lightweight and simple. And binding is the simplest way for such things. Oops. Line up all the edge. Now the reason I'm doing so many clips is because this is a tricky little bugger and it's going to want to slip. See, and then it'll just hang around the neck right where it needs to on a lanyard. It makes sense to me. So I'm just going to sew this pocket on and then we will get some binding happening. And that did not work. I'm getting, I'm not close to the end of this, but once you get a certain way down a roll, I find sometimes it doesn't want to unravel as easily as it should when it gets to like the bottom section. Also, there was a little bit of gummed up stuff. I don't know if you can see that. That was from, you know, stuff. In the seam allowance. Round we go. Now, because all of this is slippery, the lining is not perfectly lined up. However, that does not matter because it will all disappear into the 1/2 inch seam allowance when I put the binding on. So really nothing to worry about. Let me just grab some binding. I have a 100-meter roll of navy blue. I don't know why I bought that, but I did. And it will be fine. So it's, you know, close enough. Where you want to start. With binding, you always want to start on a flat bit so that you can end on a flat bit. You never want to start the binding in a corner. Corners are tricky enough without having binding drama attached to it. So, if I wasn't live, I would go and do this on my cylinder arm that's set up to be a binding machine because that's what it's for. But it can be done without it. Sometimes it's just fun to have things that make things easier. But we're not moving a whole live everything. I have not set it up to do such a thing, so we won't be doing that. Fold it over the edge. Yeah, ironing stuff is weird. Just read your comment. Round we go. The more clips, the less likely it is to shift. So if you're wondering why I'm doing so many clips on something so little, that's why. Show us that magic binder. What? Oh, the binding machine. Yeah. I will. Not today, though. Unless I can come up with some... Actually, you know what I might do? Have I already done a video about my binding? Can someone check for me? Can someone go see if I've already done, like, the binder attachment video where I show you how quickly and easy it is to bind a bag? Because if not, I can do that. I've got a Vixen cutout, and you can make Vixen with binding. I know binding was like a big rage recently. It's because it's quicker. Binding is quicker. You don't have to turn things through. Although, if you've all been following along with how I turn things through, I just leave the whole bottom open now. It's way easier. Now, I don't know if this is going to work and if it's going to be too... I don't have a lighter. I lent it to my husband and it never returned back to me. Super annoying. It's a bit of an overlap, but that's all right. Tuck it under, fold it over, clip it down. Check both sides, make sure it's all happy. And then we just bind it. Whereas the machine, the binding machine, you just feed this in and just push it in and start sewing. It is amazing. I do love the binder machine. We also want to fold that down. Hello, Amanda. You have been a stranger. Clean up your clips as you go. Love my Lord of the Rings bowl. I have a distributor of the Lord of the Rings bowls now. However, if you guys would prefer if I got some in and then you can buy like double-sided tape at the same time, I can do that. Oh, I missed. I always miss where I start. It's this magic trick of mine. Oh, I've missed lots. Okay, so none of that went well. Bugger. It all shifted while I was trying to sew it. So rude. See, you don't have that problem with the binding machine. You just don't. That's why I love it. You can get binders for this, actually. I am making a passport lanyard that has no metal on it so that it won't detect in metal detectors. It's one down. We just got one to go. Oops, I just pushed a button again. Chop it out. I hate unpicking. We have to come back to it now though, because I'm up to it. But like, so quick. How long was that? How long's the video been? 42 minutes and I've made 1.5. They are quick. They are effective. You can make them prettier. But these ones are to be hidden under clothes. And she just asked for very basic, not too thick, with no metal. So, ta-da! With RFID fabric, which you can get online. I've unpicked half of it. I'm just gonna cut all of that off. Chop. Haha! Success! So now I'm gonna mark it with a pen. Boom. You also probably want to pull out all of that fluffiness of your threads. Yoink. Do it again, but in the middle this time. There we go. Now obviously you can make these prettier. If I was doing them, I'd be putting embroidery on them. But that's not what they asked for, and I do what I'm told sometimes. Not all the time, obviously, because patterns don't get to tell me what to do ever. But this one's got no interfacing because it's a thick denim. Because you don't want it. We're not making like a big thick bag. We're trying to make something that goes under your clothes and is subtle. Not my strong suit, let's be honest. Ah, come on. Stop it. See that? It just did it again. So what happens, why this keeps doing it, is when it's unwinding from the bottom, sometimes it kind of catches under there and then won't release it easy. And then unthreads my machine. So rude. Hello, Christine. I'm making up a pattern. And if you guys stick around till the end, I'll show you the next month's release pattern. Because that'll be fun. Ta-da! Alright, binding, come at me. Where are you? I've only got navy or black, so I think we're going to do navy. So fun fact, we could actually sew it without clips. It'll just take an extra minute, but I can do it. I probably do it better without clips, actually. I'm just proving a point to myself more than anyone that it can be done. You don't have to clip things if it doesn't help you. Clipping is only to be done when it helps you. If it's more of a hindrance than a help, don't do it. So far, I think this is going pretty well. And then we want to go to here when you get nearly to the end. I do like the snips. I'm still getting used to them. So I'm not super proficient with them like I am my old ones, but I do like them. Tuck the raw edge under. Always make sure your needle's down. See that? Needle wasn't down. Wrecking my moment. Needle down. Tuck it under. Fold it over. Line it up. Alright, let's see how I did on the back of this, because I just didn't clip anything. Sometimes clips are your worst enemy. Would you look at that? Didn't miss a spot. Folds over, hangs up, done. How good? Actually, I like it with the dark. It's like an accent now. So that whole thing was made from this here piece of pattern. How good? Alright, RDIF, which is the whole point. You could make them fancier. You could make them out of vinyl or like a print. You could get like a traveling print, whatever's going. Easy peasy. Alright, do you guys want to see this bag before I hang up? And that's all I'm showing you. No, I'm kidding. Let me just put this up so that you can see better. Alright, so the idea of this bag, and I have not got, oh I do, hold on. So the point of this is to carry your hat on your bag. Look at that. It slots in, it's got a little stopper. So this is just a very simple tote, but I've put a cool gusset in the bottom, like a pieced gusset, because I can't just do two normal. That's not my style. But it holds that. On the back, this one's not attached either, so you could add a yoga mat or a jumper if you don't want to, like instead of tying your jumper around your waist, you could slot it through here. So both of them are detached to add more things. Tory pocket. The cool gusset, I love that. It's like an accent color. So if you made this out of vinyl, which I will be doing one, it'll look more classy. The strap goes all the way up and down. It is one continuous piece. So there's very little hardware. And then the inside just has a little slip pocket. So these two have the cargo style, and then the two on the side are perfectly flat and normal, and then another Tory pocket. So like super simple, but super cute. Tote style, but with a fun accent, because I can't just do a square. It's not my style at all. So we did a fun bit, and then it holds the hat, and then I laser engraved my hat with horror characters, because you know it's me. So anyway, that will be next month's pattern release, and it is a quick pattern, so you can just kind of smash it out. It would be good for gardening. You could have all your tools inside and your seed packets and, you know, all the things. It would be good. You are correct. So anyway, that's next month's pattern release. I understand it's not for everyone. I understand there's a lot of totes out there, but I wanted to do something that would be a great gift, especially because Christmas we're over halfway to Christmas. So you want to start thinking about gifts. If you are like me and you saw everyone's gifts, you want to start thinking about stuff like that. Also in Australia, it's coming into spring and summer, so that would also be a good take it to the beach bag. So you could roll up your towel, put your towel in the back, your hat in the front, and then all your essentials inside. If you wanted to do a set for someone, you could do my little insert, which was what did I call it? Oh, koala. The koala pattern with the insert thing. You could just slot it into the bag. And then it is a very cute summery beach set. So I do think about these things. I like things to go together. I love my hat. It has all the horror characters and then like these cool knives with the faces. So I got both these designs off Etsy. But so cool. So I laser engraved it. And the Scream one, and then the Scream guy. And then we've got Jason Voorhees and the It Clown and Chucky. Anyway, so you can definitely put a snap. I did think about it. I did think about putting in 2 snaps actually. I was going to put them in line with these here. It doesn't have a snap, but you can add it. I didn't put a zip because the whole point of this was to be quick. But a little snap there would definitely work. I could add it now because snaps go at the end. And I even have, so you could do magnetic snap or a little, because it's like this fabric. I love this tiger fabric. This was Inklings in the Kraken, by the way. But what you could do is you could just put a plastic snap in the same blue color so that it all matches. I could put a metal one. See, but that right there is one of those alterations I was talking about. But it stays, because of the gusset and the way the bag's designed, it pretty much stays closed by itself anyway. So that's why I didn't end up putting it. And the whole point of this was like low hardware, quick design, great last minute gift. But plastic snaps would definitely work. You could either put them through the handle parts and have 2 here, or you could put one in the middle. I personally would do the 2 snaps here because it is quite a wide bag. It started off as an 18-inch square before we took all our bits off it. So I would put the snaps here and here if you wanted to keep it closed. But because of this as well, it does stand up by itself. Probably less so because I'm pushing it. Surprised it's not falling. See, like it's got the hat in it and it still stands up by itself, which I thought was pretty cool. There you go. It's not touching anything. And that is because I added the very cool, like half a gusset. I didn't put the gusset all the way up because then it's like every other bag. Whatever. I thought I was very clever. I love this bag. I plan on making one for myself, and I want to make a bunch of them to sell on the website, and it will also help me clear out a lot of my fabric. And I did waterproof canvas on the inside because then it's a really good beach bag too. You could also, and I might do this as a hack, this bit here, you could turn into mesh so all the sand falls out. Options. It'd be a very good like market day tote to go and get all your produce because it is quite tall, so you could fit like a whole thing of lettuce or celery sticking out the side. Either way, that is what I designed. It's got 2 zippers and fabric, and that's it. But thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I haven't been around, but I promise as of next week, unless somebody like gets very sick again, which I really hope not, I will be on here back to doing more videos. Yeah, I need to do I need to figure out who's released patterns lately and see if I can do videos of those. And I need an electrician to come and deal with my lighting. See how it's dark? Dark does not help me create. It's just not a thing. So I've got to work on it. And this was from Brimax. She does make them, but they're not cheap. So if you want one, you should call her. Oh yeah, I recently added a pendant to my necklace because I got sick of the thing moving around all the time. I don't know what kind of stone it is, but I walked around a whole market and looked at like 100 of them, and this is the one apparently I wanted. So that's the one I got. All right, guys, I will see you all next time. It is early, so I'm wondering if maybe I could sneak in another video today. Feels like a good plan, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.